Yes, y'all. It is DCTF Live for Tuesday, December 15th, 2015. My name is Greg Tepper, managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, TexasFootball.com. Episode number 41, the Jake Diekman or Alexio Gondo episode. John Karanka, boy, he was a spare. Over there is Max Thompson, the director of digital for Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
What's going on, man?
I got to tell you, right off the top,
oh no, is this good or bad?
That if you have not seen
oh no, this is good.
TexasFootball.com/state, stop what you're doing right now.
Well, keep watching.
No.
Maybe open another tab.
Okay,
so you can keep hearing
tab.
us. Stick with us.
TexasFootball.com/state. I am comfortable saying it is the greatest state title game preview ever conceived.
Of all the games.
Ever
so there may be a specific game that was previewed maybe a little more in detail.
I will tell you. We have for every game at TexasFootball.com/state, we have a video preview, fixing to pick 'em. We have Mike Craven's breakdown of the game, and we have an infographic for every game, all 10 of them. You will not find anything even close to this. TexasFootball.com/state. I know we are very proud of it. It took a lot of time, a lot of long nights.
The last few nights were pretty long.
Boy, howdy. But it's
worth it. It's awesome.
Done, and,
it's awesome.
And it doesn't stop there. This is, I should tell you, fans of DCTF Live, this is the last show of the week because we will be heading to Houston tomorrow morning.
We will. Bright and early.
We don't have sadly, we don't have the internet capabilities to stream a live show.
I also think podcasting while driving is a bad idea.
I don't know. Maybe you just need to have some more courage.
I'd like to make it to the games that we've been talking about so much.
So we sadly will not be having show Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we're going to have so much content for you. After every game, we're going to have an instant recap, instant analysis up on the site. Then we're going to have a video recap of each game. After it, we're also going to be live chatting throughout all 10 games. We've got a star-studded group of folks joining in on that. Myself, Max Thompson, Mike Craven. Going to have other people just stopping by. It's going to be fun. So make sure you are there. TexasFootball.com/state is where you can find all the previews. That's where you can find all the reviews as well whenever the games are over.
Yep.
The chat we haven't set up yet, but when we do, we will make sure we blast that out and let you know where the live chat is. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm already exhausted thinking about it.
Yes.
Fox Sports Southwest will be broadcasting all the games. I will be part of their broadcast in between games on Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday I'll be in studio with the great Rick Renner, Coach Ken Purcell, and Randy Rogers. So if you can't make it to Houston, which, by the way, go to Houston.
Go to Houston.
If you have any way of getting to Houston and going to these games, do it. I tell everybody I know, this should be on your sports bucket list.
Yeah.
Is the Texas High School Football State Championship games. I don't care if you don't like high school football. Okay? This is about high school football, yes.
Yes.
This is also about Texanness. This is a celebration of Texanness. Nobody else can do this. Nobody else does do it. It is big and crazy and kind of silly and amazing and wonderful and just over the top. It is the best thing that Texas does, in my opinion.
Ooh, bold statement.
So, yeah, you know what? Texas does the high school football state championships better than it does barbecue. How's that?
I like brisket too much to let you say that.
Okay,
but
I'll
1 and 1A. 1 and 1A.
It is incredible. If you have any way of getting there, do so. If not, all the games are on Fox Sports Southwest, so do tune in to our friends over there. So we do have 10 games coming up in the next over the course of 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And of those 10 games, there are 20 teams. And on those 20 teams, there are a lot of players. So we're going to be seeing a lot of football players on the field on over the next week or so. But there are a few that I know that we are most excited to see. We are most excited to see on the big stage, on the biggest stage, in the big spotlight, and get their chance in the sun. And so we're going to talk with Mike Craven here in a little bit about his choices. Mm-hmm. So you and I both picked out our 3 players that we're most excited to see. Did you rank them? Is that what you did?
I didn't rank them. I just did 3.
Did 3.
I'm equally as excited about all of them.
I did 3
for different reasons.
I did 3 as well. And first things first, we are leaving off about 50 players.
Yeah.
Just by necessity, unless you want us to be here all day, which I mean we could be. But
sure.
For the sake of argument, we just did 3, and we're just putting 3 out there. And first one for me is maybe my favorite player in the state.
Yeah, this is probably fair.
It's Will Phillips from Franklin.
Yeah.
He is their running back. He is their linebacker. He is their do-it-all superstar, a Rice commit, I believe.
Yeah.
He is awesome. And
he has been on your radar for a long time.
And I really like the two-way stars. I really like that this is a guy who makes an impact and a big impact on both sides of the ball. He's a tough runner. He's a hard-nosed linebacker. He's one of the best players in the state, in my opinion. And I'm really excited to see him do battle with what's a very speedy Wascom team. I think that this is
a tough task.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him and then his kind of counterpart, Chan Amy over at Wascom,
awesome.
operate there. Do you want to do one of them for you?
Sure, we can switch. We can go back and forth. That's fine.
So then you pick one now.
All right. No surprise here. One of mine is West Orange Stark quarterback Jack Dallas.
Good choice.
Really enjoyed him in last year's title game. You know, we've talked so much about West Orange Stark's unfinished business, and I just Jack. That's an incredible name. It's just he's got and
if his name were Jack Thompson, we'd be like, he's okay.
He's fine.
I'm just kidding.
He's fine, but it takes him to another level, for sure. But he's a heck of a quarterback too, so he's gonna have to play a great game if they're gonna pull this off against Salina. They're in for it. I think this might even be a bigger challenge than what they dealt with last year with Gilmer, which is saying something. But I couldn't be more excited.
That is a perfectly fine choice.
Yeah.
My next choice, I'm going defense.
Yeah.
And I'm going the best defense that we will see at NRG Stadium in Houston. And that's saying something because we're going to see some really good defenses.
Yeah.
Is Waco La Vega. And the superstar on that defense is Parrish Cobb.
Yeah.
The defensive back who is just playing outside his mind right now. He is making plays all over the field. And it's not just defense. He's also a contributor on special teams. He's a big-time contributor on offense. He'll run the ball for them. He is the complete and total package. And he is a super-duper-duper star. Probably the most dominant defender in the state right now. And I'm really excited to see what he does against an Argyle offense that is going to try to beat you in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
They're going to try to run the ball. Yeah. They're going to try to throw the ball.
He's going to be tested for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're going to try to stay as far away from him as possible.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what an impact Parrish Cobb can make on the biggest stage in a place that people didn't expect La Vega to be. He's kind of dragged them there. So I'm excited to see what he can do on the biggest stage. What about you? Who's next?
All right. Let's see. I'm going with defense too.
Okay.
No surprise here. Katy linebacker Patty Fisher.
Yeah.
I love watching good linebackers, man. I mean, probably on defense more than anything else. A lot of people like defensive ends or maybe a defensive tackle roughing things up. I just like linebackers, and he's one of the best.
He's awesome.
And he's going to be facing the toughest challenge he has faced all season. Maybe tougher than what they faced with Cedar Hill last year. The sort of multi-dimensional offense and the kinds of weapons that Lake Travis is going to throw at Katy. That's I'm definitely interested to see how he handles that.
And the other thing about it is that as he goes, so goes the Katy defense. Sure. You know, he is the real heartbeat of that defense. And so when you talk about Patty Fisher, being excited to see him, which I am very excited to see him as well, you're not just talking about him making tackles and him making plays. You're talking about you're excited to see the Katy machine.
Yep.
And he's at the controls.
Yep.
And I think that's a great pick. I'm very excited to watch him. And then, so we've got the great thing is that we've got just a slew of quarterbacks to choose from.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to go small school with Canadians Tanner Schaefer and Refugio's Jalen Mascoro, if Drew Neese at Albany, if you want to go a little bit bigger to 4A, you could go with the two quarterbacks you mentioned, Jack Dallas, Connor Pingleton at Salina. If you want to go up to 5A, you've got great quarterback Max Sexton, who's been such a great part of Cedar Hill or of Cedar Park's story. Jason Shelley from Frisco Lone Star. You've got, of course, Jet Duffy. Jet Duffy for Mansfield Lake Ridge. For me, and then of course the battle in 6A is going to be fantastic. Garrett Doran, the quarterback for Katie's been great. Of course, a little guy named Brewer, Charlie Brewer, out there at Lake Travis.
He's pretty good.
Sam Ellinger in the 6A D1. I'm going with the one nobody's talking about.
Oh,
I'm excited to see Mekhi Long, the quarterback for Galena Park North Shore. I think that he has had a vastly underrated season. I think that he has really cleaned up his passing. He's of course been a bulldozer of a runner, and I think that he is a key to North Shore if they're going to pull off the victory. I think that he's got to have a big game. He's got to take care of the football, and I'm excited to see what he does on the big stage in front of what's going to be a raucous crowd.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. He's got experience playing at NRG Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how he can help operate this North Shore offense against what's going to be an excellent Westlake defense. I'm excited to see Mekhi Long run the Mustangs and see exactly where they get from there. What about you? Who's your last?
Well,
pick?
you already mentioned him, and I think it probably goes without saying.
Oh, I think I know who it is then.
Mr. Jet Duffy.
I know.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, of all the guys on this list, between you and I both, I've seen Jet Duffy play more than any of them. And that is how much fun it is to watch Jet Duffy play. I am still picking him as one of the 3 guys I'm most excited to see, even though I have seen him 3 times already this season.
It's like, you know what it's like? Jet Duffy is a lot like Terminator 2. It doesn't really matter that you've seen Terminator 2. It doesn't really matter that you know how it ends. But every time I flip on the TV and TNT is showing Terminator 2, I go, well,
I'm watching that.
There goes 2.5 hours.
See ya.
I'm going to be sitting here watching Robert Patrick chase down, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Wow.
I think you're right. I think that Jet Duffy is such a fun, dynamic playmaker. He is as close to a Kyler Murray as we have this year.
For sure. Yeah, the Kyler Murray, Johnny Manziel mold. Yeah,
do you realize some of the people we didn't mention? We didn't mention anyone from Canadian. We didn't mention anyone from Refurio.
I was tempted to put Tanner Schaefer in there.
Yeah. We didn't mention Rashad Paul from Bremond.
Awesome.
Yeah. We didn't mention anybody from Argyle.
Yeah. Drew Neese, Albany.
Exactly. There are tons of guys that we didn't mention, which I think that's what made this tough, narrowing it down to just 3.
And Mike Craven is going to pick 3 when we have him
But
on
I
here
think
in a
that
few minutes.
I think that that's the great thing, is that the superstars that we're going to see, it's just a parade of stars.
Yeah.
Every team has at least 1 or 2 guys that you go, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you just point to him and go, wow, he's incredible. And that's why that's why Thursday is one of my favorite days. Because in the small school ranks, that's where one guy can really take over.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that, and you saw that a couple of years ago. James Washington at Stanford, he's now doing big things at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
D. Paul at Monday. Yep. Ty Slanina at East Bernard.
Who was the kid at Tenaha?
Reginald Davis,
who's
now doing big things at Texas Tech.
That's right.
You see these. That's why I like that, because that's when guys can really take over a game. And you saw Rashad Paul do it last year.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who steps up to the plate and is the guy that we're talking about in these same hushed tones. Because there is always 1 or 2 that we talk about. So who are the guys that you're most excited to see? Let us know. #DCTF Live. Let me take care of one more bit of business. We got to do this one more time.
Yeah.
One more time. I'm going to miss saying this. I'm going to miss this very much. So, you're going to Houston, right? You need a place to stay. Do you want to stay where Max Thompson stays?
And Greg Tepper. And television's Greg Tepper.
The Houston Hyatt Regency in downtown Houston is offering hotel rooms to fans for a discounted rate of $129 a night. Participating teams for $119 per night. You need to get on this today. Okay, because these
maybe too late.
Because really, honestly, I'm reading this copy point, and it may be too late. But you want to call 1-888-421-1442 because that deal is not going to last, and the rooms are going to go quickly. I may even be reading old copy points.
It's possible.
It is entirely possible that you call. Don't hold it against me. I've been telling you for 2 weeks now. Houston Hyatt Regency, 1-888-421-1442. It's $129 a night for fans, $119 a night for teams. If you need a hotel room, Houston Hyatt Regency, 1-888-421-1442, and we'll see you in Houston this weekend. Very excited. Again, TexasFootball.com/state. Go over there and just let loose, man. It is awesome. It is. I'm really, really, really proud of it. I think that you guys are really going to like it. It is as comprehensive a state title preview as you will ever see. And one of the guys who had a big hand in that big comprehensive state title preview at TexasFootball.com/state is DCTF contributor Mike Craven, who will be joining us in Houston in just a little bit. Mike, how excited are you to see Max Thompson?
What's more than infinity?
Yeah, I don't know. Double infinity.
That's right.
It's going to be
squared.
It's going to be quite turned. You are. I want to ask you a question that I don't think we have a graphic for because I'm just thinking of it now.
Oh, I can make one quite quickly.
So you're going to be down there all 3 days for the state championship games. Thursday with the 2A and 3A title games. Friday with the 4A games and the 5A D1 game, and Saturday with the 2 6A games and the 5A Division 2 game. Which day are you most looking forward to? I know. Putting you on the spot.
We're supposed to do notes before I get on the show.
Sorry, man. My bad. I'm going off script here. I'm going rogue.
Now, I enjoy Friday because Thursday you're kind of getting settled in. 4 games can be a little tough. I'm a late sleeper, so 10 a.m. is not really ideal for me. And then Saturday, it's kind of coming to an end. And I kind of like the mid-sized schools. I enjoy small school football. So Friday is usually my favorite because I know how awesome Friday is. That there's a whole day waiting ahead of more football. So Friday tends to be my favorite day.
That's interesting because Max and I are bookending you.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about this. Yeah.
My favorite day is Thursday because I like the 4 games. I think it's the best bang for your buck. You get 4 small school games, and they're going to be awesome. And then you like Saturday because it's kind of
the glitz, the glamour.
It's the
big show.
Yeah, it's the red carpet premiere. Yeah, I get that. I the good thing is we don't have to choose because we get to see all of them.
Yeah.
So, Mike, we did have a conversation before you came on about the 3 players that we're most excited to see at NRG Stadium. And admittedly, these are far from the only guys that we're excited to see. We're excited to see about 500 different guys down there. But if you had to pick 3 guys that you're most excited to see at NRG Stadium this weekend, which ones are those?
I'm going to go with that 6A Division I game and say Sam Ellinger from Westlake, the quarterback. I live in Austin, but I haven't seen them this year, so I want to see them. And in that same game, I want to see that matchup with Eric Monroe at defensive back from North Shore. He's committed to LSU, so that's going to be a big-time thing for recruitniks like me. And then, of course, Katie. You could just pick Katie's running back every single year, so I'm going to go with Kyle Porter.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's funny because we didn't pick any of Katie's running game. We picked their defense. You picked Patty Fisher.
Yeah, and it's just I love watching a great linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. When you look at these, and you can check out Mike's picks alongside our picks at TexasFootball.com/state. Is there any game? Which was the game that when you were making your pick, you agonized over the most?
Probably Lake Ridge and George Ranch. I think that's a toss-up. And maybe that's just I haven't seen either of those teams. I'm not as familiar with those teams, so I have to do more research on that one. I think Brock and Cameron Yo's a coin flip, and I think a lot of those smaller games are. So I think it's going to be a lot like last year. Where there's going to be a couple games that probably have a pretty big score margin, but there's going to be a lot of really close games here that could go either way.
Yeah, I think that generally speaking, what you see for those who have never experienced state championship weekend is that with 10 games, you're going to get 2 duds. You're going to get two games that either don't live up to the hype, or one team just comes out and blows out the other team.
Yeah.
I think I have an idea of what two games those are going to be. I'm going to keep those to myself.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have, I would say, 4 games that are pretty good. You're going to go, okay, those were pretty good games. They came down to the wire, but there's a winner, and they're the clear winner. And then on average, you have 4 instant classics.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 4 games that I think out there that are going to be instant classics. Mike, are there teams out there that you think it would be an upset if they didn't win the state title?
I think Canadians got to be the obvious answer there if you just had to pick one. Cedar Park's probably in that discussion just because they've already beat Alita, who's there, and they're undefeated. So I think those two teams are probably the biggest locks, but Canadian would have to be my choice if I had to pick one.
Yeah, the Canadian game against Refugio is interesting to me because there's the travel aspect. We just watched our friends from the Canadian Booster Club sent us a video of them rolling out a Canadian, and it looks
pretty amazing.
Looks like the whole town just quit working for a second and all came out to see them. But they've got a long travel, and even though they've been so dominant, they've been dominant against teams, generally speaking, in West Texas. This is going to be the first real game they're playing against a team basically from east of 35.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested to see if that has an effect on them. And Refugio is a darn good team, more than capable of taking them out. Are you excited about NRG Stadium? I know that there's been a lot of talk about the title games not being at AT&T, but Mike, are you excited about going to NRG Stadium?
I am, as long as it doesn't stay there every year. I'm a Houston guy. I grew up there, so I'm excited to get some Frenchie's chicken and that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's something that should be at NRG every single year. I think AT&T is the perfect spot for it. Usually DFW and then the West Texas stuff with the smaller schools, usually most of the teams are located up there. So I get that argument. I think in an ideal world, I'd like to see it rotate around like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. But if it has to sit somewhere, I do think Dallas and AT&T Stadium is probably the best place for it to be on a yearly basis.
We're talking with Mike Craven, Dave Campbell's Texas football contributor here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, #DCTF Live. And Mike, you are a Central Texas guy. It has been a banner year for Central Texas. They have a number of teams in the state title games. For you, how many state titles do you think that Central Texas area, especially in the 6A and 5A with Westlake, Lake Travis, and Cedar Park, how many titles do you think Central Texas is coming away with?
I think any less than 2 would be a disappointment at this point. I think Cedar Park is expected to win, so that's supposed to be 1. And then I would think you'd want Westlake or Lake Travis to split there, and I think one of those teams probably pulls it off. So I think 2. I think Lake Travis probably has the hardest road against Katy. But Lake Travis is also a team that beat Westlake by 3 touchdowns at district play. So that's a really good football team. So I think 2, any less than 2 would probably be a disappointment for all.
For me, that's the intriguing thing about Katy and Lake Travis. And Max has been very big on this, is
of course
that neither of these teams have been challenged. You look at Katy. They've got, they had that one game against the Woodlands where they won by 7, but they've pretty much mowed past everyone else. Lake Travis, the game against Spring Westfield was only a 7-point game, but that's kind of misleading. And then they beat, they take on Westlake, and Westlake hangs for a bit, but then, they end up pulling away from it. So to me, I'm interested to see who can handle a challenge, basically.
I think that's the story with Katy every single year, at least the knock on them from a national perspective. It's hard to tell who Katy is until the state semifinals. And then last week with Steele, with Xavier Martin kind of being hurt and injured, you don't really get a good feel of what Katy is. So a lot of times it comes down to this game to figure out who Katy is, and that's kind of an odd thing for a 6A Division II team.
All right, Mike, if we did a round robin today, who wins out between Cedar Park, Lake Travis, and Westlake? Who's the king of Central Texas?
I think Lake Travis has to be the answer.
Yeah,
Lake Travis has already beat Westlake, and Cedar Park's a 5A football team for a reason. Numbers are a huge deal.
Yeah.
When I played at Cedar Park, my brother won state championships at Liberty Hill under Jerry Vance, and we used to always kind of have that discussion of like, would our Cedar Park teams that barely made the playoffs beat the state championship teams at Liberty Hill? So numbers are a huge factor, and I think at the end, Lake Travis would have to nudge because they've already beat Westlake.
We're talking with Mike Craven, DCTF contributor here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, #DCTF Live, and check out his breakdowns of all the games at texasfootball.com/state. Max, jeez.
You can talk to me too.
No,
I'm here.
I don't know.
It's fine. I'm right here. Let's talk.
Okay. So, of course.
If we're going to talk more at Lake Travis, just let Max do it.
Yeah, really.
I'm done. I just wanted to hear a Cedar Park say that.
Okay, Mike.
Cedar Park fan needed to say it out loud.
Mike, we are, of course, one of the other things about state championship games for us is all the things besides the games. There are, it's the atmosphere, it's going to the city, it's hanging out with the guys in the #TXHSFB Media Mafia. So,
except for Ben Baby.
Ben Baby curse.
Rest in peace, Ben Baby.
R.I.P. Ben Baby.
So my question is, what besides the football are you most excited about this weekend at NRG Stadium in Houston, or just in Houston in general?
This is going to sound really dorky, but I really do enjoy the in-between games in the press box with all the guys. Because you talk to everybody through Twitter throughout the year, email, or on the phone to talk about different teams that you don't, you're rarely in the same press box with all the guys you discuss football with throughout the year. So in between games, when you can just kind of sit back and talk and everybody kind of just share stories and BS's, that's probably the most fun I have at the games, other than just watching good football.
That's fair enough.
I tend to agree. I thought you were going to say Frenchies.
Frenchies.
Well, I mean, I do that every time I go to Houston. I get people to deliver me Frenchies. How Austin doesn't have one is amazing.
I was thinking if we were going to have a prop bet, we should try to do a prop bet on which Major League hats Matt Stepp will be wearing this weekend.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Baltimore Orioles.
Always Orioles.
I'm going to go
Blue Jays. He always makes his Blue Jays.
Blue Jays.
But would he bring the Rangers hat?
I don't know. He might do a Houston hat. Maybe he'll do an Astros hat for being.
Does he have an Astros hat?
I don't know. I
don't know how many hats he has.
I don't pay attention to his wardrobe.
I don't know.
He is Mike Craven. He is a DCTF contributor. Follow him on Twitter at CravenMike because he likes to make things difficult. And he will be part of DCTF's expansive, over-the-top coverage of the state title game this weekend.
You can find him and me on camera
on TexasFootball.com
after every game.
I would be
instant post-game recaps.
I would be doing it, but I have to do Fox work, so sorry, Mike.
I would just advise to look directly at Max when we're on camera.
Just
anybody out there?
Just hold like maybe a piece of paper over the right side of the screen or something like that. Yeah,
I have a made for radio face, so Max is probably the better option.
He's Mike Craven. Follow him on Twitter at CravenMike. Mike, thanks for hopping on with us, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, man.
See y'all in Houston. Safe travels.
See you, man.
There he goes, Mike Craven, DCTF contributor, joining us on DCTF Live. Thanks for having him hang up on us.
That's fine.
Here.
It's fine.
What an appropriate end. So, yeah, we're done for the week. TexasFootball.com/state. TexasFootball.com all weekend long for the most over-the-top state title game coverage you've ever seen. TexasFootball.com/state right now for the biggest preview you've ever thought of. So, that's going to do it for us. I can't believe it's like we're taking 5 days off the show, which feels weird.
It's super weird, but we'll be working probably twice as much as normal without the show,
exactly.
So that's
that's
the rub.
This is the easy part. So
yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Mike Craven for hopping on with us and talking with us. We will see him tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. And we will see you Monday on DCTF Live, but we will see you all weekend long on TexasFootball.com.